The Meridian observation post gleamed like polished obsidian against the velvet darkness of space. Inside, Senior Observer Rax adjusted his crystalline sensory arrays while monitoring the unusual vessel that had just entered their space. The ship looked like it belonged in a museum rather than deep space, its hull a patchwork of metals and composites, with large solar panels extending like primitive wings. Control, this is Observer Rax. Tracking an unidentified vessel in Sector 9. Configuration appears remarkably primitive, he reported, his crystalline form shifting colors with mild amusement. The vessel's designation read Odyssey in simple block letters across its hull. Its approach was almost painfully slow by Meridian standards, using what appeared to be chemical propulsion systems that hadn't been seen in civilized space for centuries. Acknowledged, Observer Rax. Maintain surveillance and prepare for standard contact protocols. Control responded. The Meridians prided themselves on being among the most advanced civilizations in known space. Their crystalline quantum technology was generations ahead of most species they encountered. But something about this vessel made Rax's crystalline matrix vibrate with unease. Initial scans confirmed his assumptions: chemical propulsion, basic radiation shielding, and what looked like rudimentary life support systems. The power signature was barely registering on his instruments. Control, requesting permission to initiate first contact. These beings appear to be early spacefaring. Classification: developmental assistance candidates. Before Control could respond, 3 warships bearing the mark of the notorious Nexus Raiders dropped out of hyperspace near the Earth vessel. Rax's crystalline form pulsed with concern. The Raiders were infamous for preying on less advanced civilizations, stripping their ships and selling crews into slavery. The Raiders' flagship transmitted their standard ultimatum: unknown vessel, power down your systems, and prepare for boarding. Resistance will result in immediate destruction. The response from the Odyssey was unexpected. A calm, almost amused female voice replied in perfect Galactic standard. "This is Captain Diana Reeves of the Earth vessel Odyssey. We are on a peaceful mission of exploration, but we are prepared to defend ourselves if necessary." Rax's crystalline matrix flickered with distress. The human ship was hopelessly outgunned. The Raider vessels carried enough firepower to reduce small moons to asteroid fields. The Raider commander's response dripped with arrogance. "Your primitive vessel is no match for our technology. Surrender now, and your crew may survive as slaves." About that primitive technology, Captain Reeves's voice carried an edge of amusement. Perhaps a demonstration is in order. What happened next would be debated in scientific circles for decades. The Odyssey's seemingly decorative solar panels suddenly shifted, revealing sophisticated weapon arrays that had been completely invisible to both Meridian and Raider sensors. The ship's patchwork hull rippled like liquid mercury, transforming into a seamless surface that seemed to drink in light itself. The Raiders opened fire, their plasma cannons unleashing enough energy to vaporize a small city. The beams simply disappeared into the Odyssey's hull without effect. Captain Reeves's voice came through again. "Our quantum absorption shell just converted your attack into usable energy. Thank you for the charge. Now, allow us to demonstrate some actual advanced technology." The Odyssey released what appeared to be a small cloud of silver mist. It passed through the Raiders' shields as if they didn't exist, then coalesced into millions of microscopic machines that spread throughout their ship's systems. Within seconds, the Raider vessel's weapons and engines went dark. "Those were our neural interface nanites," Reeves explained casually. "Don't worry, your life support will continue functioning, but your weapons and propulsion systems are now permanently disabled. The same will happen to your escort vessels if they don't power down immediately." The remaining Raider ships surrendered without further resistance. As Rax watched in stunned silence, the Odyssey transmitted detailed evidence of the Raiders' criminal activities to every major law enforcement agency in the sector, along with their current location. "Observer Rax," Reeves's voice now addressed him directly, making his crystalline form vibrate in surprise. We've been aware of your observation post since we entered the sector. Your technology is impressive, but you might want to update your sensor protocols. They're a bit primitive by our standards. Earth will be formally requesting diplomatic relations with the Meridian Collective soon. We look forward to productive discussions about humanity's role in the galactic community. As the Odyssey moved to escort the disabled raider ships to the nearest enforcement station, Rax began composing his report with fluctuating crystal patterns. How could he explain that the supposedly primitive vessel had been a masterpiece of technological deception? That humans had apparently achieved levels of technology that the Meridians had only theorized about. One thing was certain: the galaxy would never be quite the same after today. News of the Odyssey's encounter with the Nexus Raiders spread through the galactic community like a quantum wave. In the Grand Assembly Chamber of the Meridian Collective, Chief Scientist Nira presented her findings to the High Council, her crystalline form radiating patterns of confusion and wonder. Our analysis of the human vessel reveals technology that should be impossible, she stated, projecting a holographic model of the Odyssey. Their hull isn't just a shield. It's a living quantum matrix that can restructure itself at the subatomic level. But what's truly remarkable is how they control it. The chamber erupted in discussions as Naira revealed scan after scan showing systems that defied conventional physics. The Odyssey's power core didn't exist in a fixed location. It seemed to shift through multiple quantum states simultaneously. Their weapons weren't simple energy projectors, but devices that could locally rewrite the laws of physics. And this, Naira's crystalline form, pulsed with excitement, is just one of their outdated vessels. The council chamber fell silent. First Speaker Vax's crystal matrix flickered with concern. "What do you mean, outdated?" Before Naira could respond, a new signal appeared on the chamber's communications array. Captain Diana Reeves's face materialized in the center of the room, causing several council members to pulse in surprise at the unannounced intrusion into their supposedly secure chamber. "My apologies for the interruption," Reeves smiled, "but I couldn't help overhearing your discussion about our technology. You see, the Odyssey isn't outdated. She's a diplomatic vessel, deliberately designed to appear less advanced than she is. We find it helps avoid misunderstandings." As if to emphasize her point, the holographic display shifted to show a massive space station appearing from nowhere just outside the Meridian System's security perimeter. It made the Odyssey look like a primitive shuttle in comparison. "This is Starbase Aurora, one of our frontier research facilities," Reeves explained. "We've kept it phase-shifted until now to avoid causing unnecessary concern. But given recent events, we felt it was time for some transparency." The council watched in amazement as the station's sensors revealed themselves to be far more advanced than anything the Meridians had developed. The facility wasn't just observing space. It was actively manipulating the quantum fabric of reality itself. "Humanity took a different path than most species," Reeves continued. "While others focused on harnessing energy and matter, we learned to dance with the underlying code of the universe. Our ships don't fight against reality. They negotiate with it." To demonstrate, the Odyssey suddenly appeared inside the council chamber itself, shrunk to the size of a small model, but still fully functional. Council members recoiled in shock as Reeves stepped out of the miniaturized vessel, now physically present in the room. "Quantum scaling technology," she explained casually. "Useful for parking in tight spaces." First Speaker Vax's crystalline form trembled slightly. "Why reveal all this now? Why not simply demonstrate your superiority from the beginning?" Reeves's expression turned serious. "Because superiority isn't our goal. Humanity has learned some hard lessons about the responsibility that comes with advanced technology. We don't want to dominate the galaxy. We want to help protect it. The Nexus Raiders were just the beginning. There are greater threats emerging from the dark spaces between the stars." She gestured, and the chamber filled with holographic data showing disturbing anomalies at the galaxy's edge. "Something is coming, something that will require all of us, Meridians and humans alike, working together. That's why we're here. Not to showcase our technology, but to forge alliances before it's too late. As if on cue, alarms began blaring throughout the Meridian complex. Long-range sensors detected massive energy signatures approaching from deep space, signatures that matched none of their records. Reeves turned to face the council, her expression grim. And it seems our time for preparation just ran out. The question is, will you trust us enough to stand together against what's coming? The council chamber erupted in chaos as the unknown vessels drew closer. The Meridian's most advanced sensors couldn't penetrate their defenses, but the Odyssey's systems were already analyzing and adapting to the threat. This, Reeves declared, is why we maintained our deception. Sometimes the best defense is letting your enemies underestimate you, right up until the moment you prove them wrong. The unknown vessels emerged from deep space like living shadows, their hulls seeming to absorb both light and hope. Initial scans revealed them to be the Void Hunters, a legendary species that conquered through assimilation, turning entire civilizations into parts of their collective consciousness. In the Meridian Council chamber, Captain Reeves interfaced directly with the Odyssey's quantum systems, her mind extending through the ship's neural network. "They're not just ships," she explained, her voice resonating with newfound knowledge. "They're quantum-scale predators. They don't just destroy civilizations. They consume their very essence." Chief Scientist Naira's crystalline form pulsed with recognition. "The missing colonies at the galaxy's edge. This is what happened to them." "Yes," Reeves confirmed. "But humanity has been preparing for this moment since we first detected their approach a century ago. It's time to show you what our ships can really do." The Odyssey's full capabilities finally revealed themselves. The ship's quantum matrix expanded, creating a web of interconnected fields that linked it with Starbase Aurora and the surrounding space. Within this network, reality itself became fluid, responding to human thought and intention. "Our greatest breakthrough wasn't in weapons or shields," Reeves explained as she coordinated with her crew. "It was understanding that consciousness itself is a fundamental force of the universe. We learned to dream with reality, to dance with the quantum foam that underlies everything." The Void Hunters launched their first attack, beams of dark energy that should have annihilated everything in their path. But where these beams met the Odyssey's quantum field, they transformed into complex patterns of light and information. "They're trying to rewrite our reality," Naira observed in awe. "But you're teaching it to dance instead." "Exactly," Reeves smiled. "Their power comes from domination. Ours comes from cooperation. We don't fight the universe, we invite it to play." The space around the Meridian system became a symphony of light and energy as human ships emerged from quantum space. Each vessel moved in perfect harmony with the others, their crews linked in a vast neural network that turned space combat into an art form. The Void Hunters, encountering resistance unlike anything in their long history of conquest, shifted tactics. Their ships combined into massive geometric patterns, trying to overwhelm the human defense through sheer computational complexity. But humanity had an answer for this too. From Starbase Aurora, a signal pulsed through the quantum web, a new kind of mathematics that turned the very vacuum of space into a computational medium. "We call it quantum choreography," Reeves explained as space itself began to ripple with complex patterns. Every particle, every wave, every quantum fluctuation becomes part of the dance. The more complex their attack, the more elements we have to work with. The Meridians watched in amazement as the human ships began moving in impossible ways, their quantum fields interacting with space-time itself to create patterns that defied conventional physics. The Void Hunters' attacks weren't just being blocked, they were being absorbed, transformed, and redirected in a dazzling display of technological artistry. "Your ships," First Speaker Vax observed, "they're not just fighting, they're performing a symphony with reality itself." "That's why we kept our true nature hidden," Reeves replied. "Not because we feared others' power, but because we needed them to understand. Technology without consciousness is just tools. But when you merge the two, when you let your ships dream and your crews dance with the stars, That's when the impossible becomes possible. The battle reached its crescendo as the Void Hunters launched their final assault. Their combined consciousness tried to overwhelm the human neural network, to corrupt the quantum dance with their own dark patterns. But in doing so, they made a fatal mistake. They thought our connection was a weakness. Reeves grinned. They didn't realize it's our greatest strength. When humans link minds, we don't lose our individuality. We create something greater than the sum of its parts. The quantum web pulsed with accumulated power, every human ship and crew member contributing their unique perspective to the whole. The resulting cascade of consciousness transformed the very fabric of local spacetime, turning the Void Hunters' own quantum nature against them. One by one, their ships began to falter, their dark energy dissipating into harmless quantum noise. The few that survived retreated into deep space, their confidence in their superiority shattered by this encounter with a civilization that had turned space warfare into an art form. In the aftermath of the battle, the Meridian Council chamber had transformed into an impromptu command center. Holographic displays showed the retreating Void Hunters, their once fearsome ships now limping back into the darkness between stars. But Captain Diana Reeves knew this wasn't just a victory, it was a beginning. The Void Hunters will return. She addressed the assembled council, her voice carrying both warning and hope. They'll adapt, learn, try to counter our quantum choreography. But in doing so, they've given us something invaluable: time to prepare, and a reason for our civilizations to work together. Chief Scientist Naira's crystalline form pulsed with newfound understanding. Your deception wasn't just about hiding your capabilities, she realized. You were waiting for the right moment to unite the galaxy. Precisely, Reeves smiled. Humanity learned long ago that true strength doesn't come from technological superiority alone. It comes from diversity, from the combination of different perspectives and approaches. The Meridian's crystalline quantum technology, combined with our consciousness-based systems, could create defenses the Void Hunters could never overcome. First Speaker Vac stepped forward, his crystalline matrix shimmering with decision. Then let us not waste this opportunity. The Meridian Collective formally offers an alliance with Earth, not as superior and inferior species, but as equals with different gifts to bring to our common defense. The chamber's quantum field rippled as Reeves activated a secure channel to Earth Command. Within moments, a new hologram appeared. Fleet Admiral James Chen, his weathered face showing satisfaction at how events had unfolded. The Meridian Collective's offer is accepted, Chen declared. But let's be clear. This alliance isn't just about defense. It's about revolution. Humanity's quantum choreography, combined with Meridian crystal technology, could transform everything from space travel to planetary terraforming. As if to demonstrate, the Odyssey's quantum field expanded once more, but this time it merged with the Meridian's crystalline networks. The resulting synthesis created patterns of energy and consciousness that neither civilization had achieved alone. This, Reeves gestured to the mesmerizing display, is what happens when we stop thinking in terms of superior and inferior technologies and start thinking about harmony. Every civilization develops along its own path, discovers its own truths. The real power comes from bringing those truths together. Over the next few hours, humans and Meridians began sharing their knowledge openly. The Meridian's perfect crystalline structures provided new frameworks for human quantum consciousness techniques. In turn, humanity's understanding of consciousness as a fundamental force opened new possibilities for Meridian technology. We've got research teams standing by on Starbase Aurora, Chen announced, and we're detecting similar quantum signatures from other civilizations who witnessed today's battle. They're reaching out, ready to join our alliance. Then let's give them something worth joining, Reeves proposed. She interfaced with the Odyssey's systems one more time, but now the ship's quantum field carried an open invitation to all who could perceive it, a demonstration of what was possible when different species chose to share their dreams of the future. The space above the Meridian homeworld came alive with light as ships from a dozen species emerged from quantum space, drawn by the promise of this new alliance. Each brought their own unique approach to science and technology, their own piece of the universal puzzle. The Void Hunters thought they could conquer us by forcing uniformity, Reeves observed. Instead, they've inspired the greatest collaboration in galactic history. As the day drew to a close, the combined fleet of allied species performed their first synchronized quantum dance. Human consciousness tech merged with Meridian crystals, powered by energy systems from a dozen other civilizations. The resulting display wasn't just a show of force. It was a promise of what they could achieve together. We may have been mocked and forgotten once, Reeves mused, watching the spectacular light show. But now we've helped forge something greater than any single civilization could achieve alone. The real victory isn't in ruling the battlefield. It's in transforming it into a dance floor where all species can contribute their own steps to the cosmic ballet. The stars themselves seemed to shine brighter as the Alliance celebrated its formation, each species bringing its own unique music to the universal symphony. The age of isolation was over. A new dawn had arrived, one where humanity's greatest contribution wasn't its technology, but its ability to bring diverse civilizations together in a dance of cosmic cooperation.